We all want arms that are as big as possible. So today I'm going to show you exactly how to train a tricep effectively without the elbow pain. Let's go. Alright, so the first movement for the triceps is the most popular one out of them all. Probably the rope push down for the lateral head of the tricep, aka the small head, but that does give you that wide appearance from the front of your arm. However, instead of the rope push down, which actually is not as effective, we're gonna go with one arm at a time unilaterally with an ankle cuff instead of a rope. We're using an ankle cuff because we want to take the wrist out of the movement, and we just want the grip to be very easy, so we can focus on this joint right here, the elbow, where the tricep is attached to. So with this one, the most important thing is, I call it like the side tricep extension, as from the side of your body, you're extending it downwards. And if you can see, well, from here you can see it better. When I go up, you see this cable goes parallel with the upper arm. That means it is perfectly working as it's supposed to. This is a joint that hinges one way, like a door. Only one up and down, so no back and forth, for example, which like the shoulder can. So you only want something that is in parallel with the upper arm, such as this cable. If you would do the rope push down, as you can see right here, then when you go all the way down, you see this cable go straight up, but your arms and especially your elbows are pointing towards the side. That means there's a strange torque and tension going through the elbow, which after many years will cause elbow pain. So this movement perfectly works the small head, and the nice thing about this one is ultimate stretch, ultimate contraction, both in the perfect angle, so the triceps are fully engaged without any other muscle, and no tricep pain. Anyway, let's move on to the next one. One question I often get as well is, should you isolate the triceps at all? Already doing the presses, maybe even the flies or some other movements that require the tricep anyway, so why would you isolate them? Well, for most people who train like the regular push-pull leg split, they kind of lack mass in the arms in general, as their arms are not taken too seriously or predominantly in the entire workout scheme. So the tricep volume needs to be higher than what you do in a press. What you can think of is like when you're doing a bench press, it's one full set for the chest, but only half a set for the tricep. It's a secondary muscle group, and you want to do movements where the tricep is the primary muscle group, like the next one. All right, we are laying down as it's time for the medial tricep head, which is activated by, for example, the close grip bench press. I like to do it in the Smith machine. Why? Because you can save yourself, it's much more stable, and you actually want to isolate the triceps as much as possible without activating the chest. So the grip here is the most crucial thing about this movement. When you watch my old videos, you can see me gripping the bar very narrowly, and when going down, it feels quite good on the triceps, but look at my wrists. They're under a tremendous amount of pressure. When you're young, you're indestructible, but you're getting older like me, you're gonna feel it. So you want to modify this movement. So instead of gripping the bar very close, you actually wanna go quite far out, kind of like shoulder width. And you can usually look at the rings at your bar. This one, for example, has rings right here, putting my index finger on it and then going straight down. And this will allow my elbows to move forward, get a good stretch, and also allow a good contraction at the very top. And that way I can get a full range of motion on the triceps. So all the way up, contraction, all the way down. Now you don't have to contract at the top, but it does help a lot with the mind-muscle connection here. Here you can actually squeeze the triceps, going all the way down, and don't think about the chest here. When you go down, think about pushing your elbows forward towards your knees and not downwards, basically, as then it would be a chest bench press, for example. So upwards and downwards. This is what works, the medial head, which is what makes your tricep nice and meaty from the back. It kind of makes the long head and the lateral head kind of move apart from each other, kind of get wider as well. which adds to the whole 3D dimension of your arm. Now, to get big arms, you obviously have to train the triceps and the biceps, but training is worth nothing if you don't recover. The best way to recover is, of course, with protein post-workout, and right now, there happens to be 25% off all ESN protein products. 25%, especially the designer whey drip, which you can also use as your post-workout topping. Use code Wesley for the best discount, and thank you for the golden support. Now, we just did the close grip bench press, which I think is a fine movement, but one movement I think that is much better actually is the same version, but kind of different with dumbbells. I mentioned the first movement, at the first exercise, you can move your wrist and your elbows around, giving you freedom. The same thing you can do with dumbbells to train the triceps. So we're gonna lay back and we're kind of gonna do a hybrid between a skull crusher and a close grip bench press, just like this. Instead of going all the way back with the dumbbells, you just want the dumbbells to go right beside your head and go straight up and move them like this to contract the triceps. This will give you more freedom in the joints, which if you happen to have any elbow pain, will reduce it by quite a lot. And this will cause a lot of tricep stretch and also contraction right here. So when you go all the way down, you don't want to think only of down, but also of going a little bit to the back to stretch the triceps, and then go upwards to get a good contraction. Now it's time for the long head, the biggest part of the triceps. There are numerous ways to train this long head. We're gonna go right away to the most effective one, in my opinion. We're gonna go back to our trustworthy ankle cuff. We're gonna put it around our hands and train the long head, as the long head is best trained overhead in a stretch. So you have a pulley, put it just above hip height, as this will cause a nice stretch when you're performing the movement. And when you now go all the way down, here is where you should feel the ultimate stretch. When you go all the way up, you don't have to go all the way up like this. Don't overextend the elbow, as again with the long head, it's all about that stretch right here. Go up to about 90%, all the way down, and truly feel and focus on the stretch. And I also truly recommend first doing the movements I just explained, so you get a nice pump in the triceps, and then doing this one at the very end. So a lot of people have elbow pain, obviously, as always with the triceps, but especially with overhead movements, that puts a lot of pressure on the elbow because the long head is really pulling on that. So the best way to prevent this is just like the other movements. Make sure the force is parallel to your muscle working, which means in practice, the cable going down has to be parallel to the upper arm, which means the tricep can move exactly as is intended to, as a hinge joint. So when you go all the way down, feel the good stretch. The cable is parallel to the upper arm. When you go up, it doesn't have to be necessarily, as you won't be contracting it fully, but then the way down, it has to be parallel, so the force is equal to how the tricep is supposed to work, and the joint won't experience any strange tension. So, should you have a separate arm day to build the maximum amount of muscle in the arms? Well, only if arms are your weak point. So if arms are definitely behind your chest, your legs, your back, then in my opinion, yes. So most people train the chest, maybe the side delts, and then do the triceps. Obviously, if the triceps are still lagging behind, that means the reason is they're not prioritized in the workout. The chest might be better developed because you're doing it first. Even though the volume might be equated, the amount of effort you put into the movement is lesser. So do the triceps on a separate day, allows you to put all the effort into the tricep, and actually with a whole separate day allows you for more nutrition, to get more carbohydrates on that day as well. If it's truly a weak point, you can truly build up those arm muscles. Same for the biceps. If you train the back, the biceps are always at the end, but you can also do it separately, do like supersets, like Arnold old school movements, or just 3 tricep movements, 3 bicep movements. You can do it like that as well. Anyway, guys, let me know down in the comments if you are doing an arm day yourself and what you think, what you should do to create the biggest possible arms. You can train as hard as you want, but if you cannot see your muscles, what are you training for? That's why I like to wear able stringers and tank tops to show those full-blown arms, show all your favorite classic physique poses. So make sure to get some able gear with code Wesley. Thank you for the golden support. And don't forget to stay golden. All right, a bonus exercise, tricep dips. There are many varieties of this. You have the dip machine, you have free weight dips, body weight dips, you can do assisted dips, even bench dips. But I like the machine quite a lot, as it allows you to really be isolated with your body in one position and move your arms the way you want to. So especially on this machine by Gym 80, you can actually move these handles outwards and inwards. The outwards version is for the chest, the inwards is for the triceps. Always remember that. So what you want to do is truly focus on bringing the elbows back and contracting the triceps as opposed to the chest. Mind-muscle connection is quite important here. So sit down, and one trick I like to utilize to maximize tricep involvement, obviously keep the elbows nice and close to your body to make sure the triceps are involved maximally. But also the moment you go upwards, you move your upper body forwards, and here I can already feel the stretch in the triceps happening. When you feel that stretch, don't overextend, as now the chest is going to be involved. So only go up when you feel, okay, now I feel a nice stretch. And once you go down with the arms, go back with the body to truly get the contraction in the tricep ready. So move your body along with the motion your arm makes. So contraction, move back, stretch, move forward. Now, if you want to train the chest, you kind of go with your elbows to the outside and the hands as well. But we're focusing on the triceps here, so it's a nice finisher. When you get a very nice pump in the tricep, you feel the incredible stretch here, good contraction here. You can go nice and heavy and make sure to finish off the triceps for good. All right, guys, very important, the amount of sets and reps I like to do for maximum tricep growth. Exercise for number 1, the side tricep extension. Here, I like to do quite a lot of volume, 3 to 4 sets, 12 to 15 reps at least. Small muscle group requires more volume. The second movement is going to be, of course, the closed grip bench press. You can require more weight here as you use multiple joints, and the chest is involved a little bit as well. So stick to around 10 reps. Don't go below that, in my opinion. 3 sets, about 10, maybe 12 reps maximum. The third movement was the overhead tricep extension. And that one, I would require a little less volume, a little higher weight, as it's the long head, it's a bigger muscle, it can take a little bit more weight. Don't go to extreme heavy weights though, so 8 to 12 reps, also around 3 sets. If it's truly a weak point in your triceps, make it 4 sets to add some more volume to this muscle group. And then the other 2 bonus movements, for example, the skull crusher, close grip bench press dumbbell variation. I would do 3 sets here, 10 to 15 reps. Dumbbells you can do a little less weight with, so you can do a little bit more reps here for more volume. And the triceps, you're pretty strong in this one, so 3 sets, 8 to 12 reps. Normally, I don't exclusively mention this, but trust me, you want to do this, as you want to be the one that hits my channel to 700,000 subscribers to make sure this channel will reach that incredible number. I've been working on this for many, many years, and you guys have always supported me with your golden support. So seeing that number rise to such a high number is incredible. So make sure to click the subscribe button and be the one to hit that 700K or even more. And if you do subscribe, you won't miss next week's content, which will be the USA content to the Mr. Olympia in Las Vegas, where I'll do many collaborations with the top athletes in the world. I'll be there not as an athlete, but as a spectator, watching and enjoying the show and seeing who will win all those incredible Olympia titles. See you there, and don't forget to stay golden.
Cause I don't give a fuck what you say. Yeah, I'ma do shit my way. So you can go kick rocks, I'ma stack bricks up, build what I want to make. Yo, I got a lot of shit to say, so I'ma do this every day. I'll be writing things until I'm fucking buried in my grave.